Hello, YouTube peers, and welcome to episode 15 of What Did You Miss? So, today we have um, quite a few Levelhead highlights, a few Mario Maker 2 ones, and a Sonic 3 one. Since Sonic 3 one is the one with the shortest amount of um, content, let's go over that. And at the end, if you guys are still interested, I'm going to go over Super Neptunia RPG, or no, Mega Dimension Neptunia. I mean, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go over the screenshots and videos of that and talk about that. I went ahead and deleted like the older ones, so we just see the newer ones, stuff that's relevant on the Switch when the time comes for that. So we'll take care of that after we're done watching these highlights. I am talking today. I'm definitely my ears feeling better, but it's not fixed. I'm just talking even though I probably shouldn't be, just for content. Anyways, so I went and played the level that I was struggling on before. I was doing quite a few of like the bonus room things this day. Just wanted to sort of like chill a little bit more, and I felt like doing the bonus rooms aided me in chilling out. We found this desert land. Other than these annoying scorpion dudes, I like this zone a lot. Um, there's like these guys that jump out of the sand is pretty cool. Yeah, I tried to not talk much while I was playing when I was streaming this past week because I'm kind of deaf in my right ear right now. I was totally deaf. I probably am still totally deaf. I'm not sure. Like, no, my hearing comes and goes actually. Yeah, my hearing is definitely coming and going. So I can hear a little bit in my right ear. I'm not sure how much. Definitely not as well as I can in my left. But my hearing is not completely gone right now. But maybe like 2 days ago, it definitely was still gone. Anyway, so this was Act 2, and in Act 2, we sort of have like a weird, like, almost like a ghost house situation, or like there's some ghosts inside the pyramid or whatever. So yeah, not sure what's going on with all this, but basically, like every time you hit one of these lights, the ghosts like leave you alone. If they haunt you for long enough, then they start dealing damage to you and taking away your rings. So something to look out for. So pretty interesting mechanic, pretty scary. It reminds me of like being underwater for too long, kinda needing to get air. I would have liked to have seen them revisit that, but this was cool too. Maybe we'll get a water zone later. For now, I don't think we've really had a dedicated water zone in this game. I guess I was doing some pausing so I could chat with people. Yeah, Bingo Bo showed up. He's quite the Sonic fan. Anyway, I didn't finish this zone, but at least I got to see it for the first time that day. Alright, so let's go over the level head stuff. So this was the first one, and then actually streamed it twice, it looks like. Um, let's do the more recent stuff, actually. Let's take a look at Anchor Town. So Duckbag sent me this um, when I was not really feeling all that great. This was from the ED feed raid. So I do like shout out ED feed. Not sure if this will work. We don't have the shout out source
It can be really satisfying sometimes to put traps in
visible.
specific places that people wouldn't expect them. So if you've got something I had happen earlier on stream,
That's interesting. Even though we can't see it, we can hear
enemy
it.
soldier like to stick
I didn't expect that.
A soldier likes to sticky jump? No, that doesn't make sense. No, the soldier likes to
Anyway, that's his
jump
voice.
on top of a particular building. And he did that once.
This is a random clip from his channel. Alright, well, sorry you guys couldn't see it. I'm actually surprised you could even hear it, but yeah, anyway, whatever. So yeah, he streams Levelhead. He's pretty good at it. Playing the levels, I mean. As far as I know, the only streamer that's really relatively consistently rated me, which is nice. I feel like in Mario Maker 2, like, I guess I'm just not as good of a streamer in general. Like, I feel like I need more raid help in Mario Maker 2 for some reason. I'm not sure why I'm such a failure as a Mario Maker 2 streamer, but I think moving forward, I'm not going to really care about success in Mario Maker 2 anymore. I think I may still continue to stream it. I'm tempted to just stream a different category, to be honest, and just play Mario Maker 2, you know, in other words, like make levels while I'm doing like art or design or something like that. Anyway, this was a level you had to like quickly collect some batteries and deliver them while things were like trying to kill you, which I thought was pretty cool.
Hello,
It's
YouTube.
pretty.
Here's
It felt like
my
combat, to
screen
be honest,
Today,
didn't it?
I just
Yeah.
wanted to quickly go over a tier list. This is Final Fantasy mainstream game.
Oh, we're hearing me talk in the video because it's done compiling.
These are the ones that have.
It was actually had like an intro and an outro, if you want to call it that, different parts of the video that I wanted to combine. We're doing a tier list for Shin Megami Tensei because I'm going to stream that tomorrow. Well, it's not a tier list for Shin Megami Tensei. It's like a tier list to hype up the Shin Megami Tensei stream, right? Because I played a bunch of RPGs. I wanted to do an RPG tier list, but I couldn't, so I just did. Like, I didn't want to look around forever trying to find one or make one for myself. I probably should have just made one for myself, but anyway, I made a Final Fantasy tier list, so we're gonna put that up on YouTube. Let's go ahead and do that now, I guess. Get it started with the upload. So I believe it saved it to this folder. Yeah, Final Fantasy tier list and SMT5 hype. We'll just leave it at that for now. I can change it later. I just wanted to get that started on the upload and processing. Alright, so, where were we? Alright, so this level, as you can see, wasn't really particularly long. It was like a couple minutes long to play, and even less if you are actually really good at the game or speedrunning it or whatever. Anyway, pretty cool level. I might make some levels like that too. I do sort of have a level where you're like collecting the batteries, but you're kind of like exploring for them or hunting them down. If you want to call it that, is probably a better term. More of a hunting batteries down kind of situation. You are in somewhat some danger, but anyway, it's a pretty small level. Blah blah blah. It was somewhat small too, but his was like in like various like chapters or like fights. It made it feel more like a fight, which was kind of cool. I might try something like that myself. Anyway, moving forward, very cool level. I need to make some more levels in Levelhead, so I'll probably be doing some of that at some point. Maybe I should stream Mario Maker and Levelhead today, and just like, but I'll only stream like art, design, or whatever. Maybe like stream in a different category. It's probably not a bad idea. I wonder if Muffin's playing Mario Maker. Apparently, he's on the left here. My goodness. No, he's playing Dark Souls. Okay, yeah, he started playing Dark Souls recently. Could ask him some questions about that later. Okay, so we have 4 Mario Maker 2 highlights. Wait, no, more than 4. We have like 7, and then we have like probably about the same amount Levelhead, maybe. Anyway, let's go with the most recent stuff. Okay, so there was this highlight that I was looking at. This is a very simple level where you just move forward with these strange hexagons. Pretty cool concept. That kind of makes me want to make a hexagon level, to be honest. So this was a level that hadn't been cleared yet. It's actually easier than it might appear to be. It challenges the other Japanese speakers to like battle Meowser, but you don't really have to like actually defeat Meowser, you just need to escape. So you could, I'm assuming the maker may have just damage boosted. Like, it's difficult to not take damage to that boo, but I managed to do it twice, believe it or not. But in the end, I think I did take damage to something. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, see I got past this boo by sliding underneath them. I should stop. Anyway, I was like putting my fingernail in my hair and scraping at some of the dried mucus that was in there. But I need to leave it alone for now. It's good. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely doing some healing. But we can't have like the maximum itchiness available in there either. Even if it would potentially help me heal faster. Oh, I think I just took damage to these launchers, that was it. Cause, yeah, I took damage twice, so it became small. Did I actually die here? I don't think I did. I was wondering if I was gonna finish big or not. Apparently I didn't. Anyway, very cute level. Not sure if it was made by a younger person or not, but either way, pretty good stuff. Let's check out this one. Well, this highlight is me just like working on levels. So I was like, this is what the map one looks like for a new super world that I'm making. It's basically planned to be a forest world. And on top of it being only forest, it's also probably going to be SMB1 only. So I'm really going to be challenging myself from the thematic perspective, I guess, if you want to call it that, to have plenty of variety. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to have like maybe like half of the levels be like Master Sword levels, and the other half of them be like Dream Mushroom levels. These rooms are not planned to be copies of each other. I'm simply copying them because it's just easier to get the idea of extra rooms onto the into the core spot. And then after I felt like I was done for the moment working on map 1 of that super world, I decided that we needed a new level for the auto-scroll coin collecting series, because it's been a while, and it had been a while since the last installment. So I spent some time on November 10th, which was yesterday, just from start to finish, just make a whole new level. I had some other ideas running around in my head, but I hadn't finished any of them. But I had an idea for a Yoshi level, and so I started making this level, and we made it. I didn't really give the person that first cleared this any hints than I could have if I was not the maker. So I just said something like, well, yeah, we have a hidden coin, which is obvious, and I just told him, it should be in a similar place as the hidden Yoshis that he found. So, and he found the coin, so it worked out. But yeah, what ended up happening was, I actually want to show you guys, because I was playtesting this a bit here and there, so it's hard to tell when I actually clear checked this, but I guess it would have been towards the end. Forgot to delete the egg. Anyway, so what he was doing was once he got up to these, he would go around that platform there. He would see where the muncher is. He would go past the muncher and up, then he'd go to the right to collect those coins instead of staying on the ground. Because if he had stayed on the ground, he would have found that invisible coin. So that invisible coin was the one that took him a long time to find, but he eventually found it, and so he was able to clear because he found it. But yeah, I wasn't anticipating people doing that, going up there like that. So I guess it's just a matter of like him trying to like um do more stuff in a short amount of time. Not sure if it adds or takes away from the level that people could potentially go up there like that. I really wanted to like have the coins be more distinctive as sets of 6 than they actually were, but considering how open some of the level needed to be, and how free I wanted the players to be, it was really hard to establish that. But hopefully people that play like their earlier stuff in the series, especially what is it like 14 and 15, they'll know about the 6 coin rule, and hopefully they won't struggle to find that coin or like get lost so much as the other guy did, because it was his first time playing with my levels. Yeah, from coin grab gauntlet 6 and onward, I started doing a 6 coin rule thing. Also did a 6 coin rule in my 3D World only Super World, and now we're repeating it with auto scroll coin collecting 14, 15, 16, and I'll do it as well in 17, and then I'll probably stop doing that at that point for this particular series, just because this particular series does a lot of rotations of like things for the players to expect, and it's usually like a rotation of like 4 courses or so, 4 or 5 courses, or 8 courses or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, the cycle will like I'd go through a cycle, and the cycle will be complete again on number 17. So 17 is going to be uh, the double zone level, which we haven't had for a while. 14, 15, and 16 were all single zoners. I'm actually planning number 17. Zone 2 is going to be either forest or underwater, I think, because I want to force the player to do some swimming, perhaps. I'm seriously thinking about doing that. I haven't finalized what level it's going to be, of course, but anyway, that's the idea I'm thinking about going with. So, what else do we have here? Oh, that was a more recent one. So, let's take a look at this. We have Grand Sand Tower, hashtag DGR. So this level was basically just a Katsu climbing level, like it said in the description. It had like a few like minor trolls in it, like a naked door, for example, uh, that potentially force the player to fall down. They didn't really expect to not have safe ground when they go through the door. So it's sort of meant to be like if you fail, then you could potentially lose a lot of progress. And there was some jumps that were somewhat hard, but wouldn't necessarily call them trolly. Yeah, overall, a pretty wholesome level compared to what you'd usually expect out of a hashtag DGR level, which is why I like to try them all, because you never know when you're going to find a gem like this one. So this one was pretty good, I thought. Anyway, it took me around 10 minutes or so to beat it, a little bit over that maybe, but not. I definitely spent some time, looking at the levels too, so before I actually play them, like that adds to the experience, blah blah blah. I chat about them a little bit too sometimes. Anyways, definitely one of the easiest hashtag DGR levels I've played. I try to get first clear on them whenever I see them, basically. because I want to like eventually like get the bigger streamers to notice me, and it's a pretty simple ask to go for some uncleared levels. So next up is Easy Baby Boat Ride. That's actually not the name of the level. The name of the level is actually highly instructive. Build a boat to cross the lava. But I thought that would be, I figured a descriptive name for the highlight would be better than an instructive highlight. Anyway, this level was also not cleared, even though it had 14 people playing this, apparently. One person gave it a like, and I came to the conclusion by the end of the video that the reason somebody liked it was because they realized it was a good level, they just didn't have time to play it, apparently. So, because it's a somewhat slow level. Not sure whether or not they would have died on it, but if they didn't die on it, that's shameful. In my opinion, or I don't know, unless he was like literally doing a speed run, in which case that makes sense. But either way, apparently what happened was he like waited until his run was over to give it a like. Is what I assume must have happened. I figured it was like an alternate account because guy had hardly any games played on it, so it looked like it could have been a new player. But if it was a new player, they would have beaten the level. Was my reasoning. So I feel like it's implausible that a real life event would have stopped him from playing this level because he barely had any levels played. And I think what made it worse was I think he beat almost all of his levels too, if I remember right. Unless it was like somebody else's profile. Anyway, like I didn't die once, and like I said, I assume it was made for young children. But yeah, because it was such a slow level, a lot of people didn't want to finish it, I guess. I actually I was wondering, at first I was wondering, are these POWs meant to be used to fight enemies with? But I was like, and so I thought maybe I would have to start over, but I didn't. I didn't need the POWs at all. They were just fine to be part of the boat. So I guess you could get some bonus points for defeating the dry bones, but bonus points don't really matter in Mario Maker 2. Anyway, I definitely would have had a higher opinion on somebody giving up on that level if the powers were actually mandatory for something, but they weren't. So moving along, let's continue to go backwards. So 3 more Mario Maker highlights, and then we'll move on to the rest of the level head highlights, it looks like. So you have Spiny Swamp. So this level was pretty hard. I can imagine a lot of people maybe thinking this one is somewhat unfair because the spinies can like fall down on you and hurt you. There's sort of like some patterns available though, as you can see, so it's not the weird, like there's some slopes changes or whatever. Plus you could also jump up really high to sort of scout up ahead. So there's that. Like you can sort of guess and or see for yourself what's happening, so it's not the meanest thing ever. And there's a P-switch speedrun thingy, which I failed a little bit here and there, because I'm slow poke sometimes. There's like a sort of like finale room, and before you get to the finale room, there's this part. As you can imagine, I failed the finale room the first time I found it. Anyway, you have to like jump on this green part in order to be able to get up to here, because otherwise you keep bonking your head from the trampoline. I accidentally did a ground pound. I was trying to get into the pipe, but I pressed it down too early, so that was a pretty embarrassing moment. So yeah, I died quite a few times on this, so it's definitely worthy of the super expert tag, unlike probably the DGR level, as well as definitely that easy baby level that we saw. Anyway, but yeah, all of these levels were found in Super Expert, believe it or not. Yes, this honeycomb path was in Super Expert, as well as the easy baby level. So it's really amazing what ends up there from so many casuals playing this game. And not actually trying to beat the levels, which a lot of people just want a +1. They might actually be good enough to beat a level, they just don't feel like beating the level, so I go ahead and beat it. Beat the levels they don't want to beat. This level was pretty fun. This is one of the more fun ones. It was definitely more challenging, as was mentioned by one of my viewers. They thought it looked really tough. But I enjoyed playing it. It's sort of an extermination. One thing to note about this is it probably should have been a 500-second timer, but instead it was like 300, I guess, maybe, which was like the default. I'm not even sure if it was 300. No, it was, I think, yeah. I'd have been. I was going to say maybe it was slightly smaller, but no, it wasn't. Anyway, you had to defeat a lot of plants. I'm not sure how long it took me. I think maybe like 4 minutes or something. But yeah, definitely like took a while. I definitely timed out, early on and trying to beat it. They actually give you infinite bells, but you have to go all the way to the beginning to get those bells. So if you're like constantly taking damage and needing to go get a new bell like every fire flower, you're probably gonna run out of time, which I think is fine, to be honest. I just think it would have been better personally if they just didn't give you infinite bells. They should have just given you a limited amount, even just only give you one. Although I guess if they only gave you one bell, then it would have been a lot harder to clear and it would have taken a lot longer to get consistent at. Well, I wouldn't necessarily would have minded it. I don't think it necessarily would have taken away from the level. But a lot of people are of the opinion you want more levels to be more accessible to the masses. So as far as being more accessible, this level definitely delivers on that. And because it's more accessible, I feel like it's also appropriate for it to have this timer. I just feel like one bell with 500 seconds would have been more fair overall, if that makes sense. That way people can go nice and slow and try to focus on not taking damage even once, so that way they can continue to kill the plants that are like on walls and stuff like that. Um, I mean, some of these plants you could certainly just jump on them to defeat them, but not all of them are going to be like that. And plus, how are you gonna like fight like a spiny when you're small? Like, you definitely can't defeat it, that's for sure. But you can like pounce on it like that to defeat it after you've flipped it over. So anyway, yeah, these ceiling guys, you would have no way to defeat them without your cat suit. So I mean, if you want to get technical, you don't necessarily need to like keep your cat suit the entire way through on exterminating these things, but it's pretty close to needing to do it, especially since they're like all throughout the level, and like actually probably more of them are on the ceiling than not, or at least half of them, maybe. But I digress. It was a pretty fun level. It's nice to find some levels where you're actually doing some combat, and as you can see, I really wasn't the best at it, and I definitely could have used some extra practice, but seems like I did about as well as the maker. I actually beat his clear check time by about 10 seconds, as you can see. Well, slightly more than 10 seconds difference, but yeah, not very many milliseconds in between. Or held over, or whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, enough about this highlight. A brawler, that's what Levelhead calls it, right? There's one more Mario Maker level. This one is a kind of interesting level. This one I played it more than one session. So I'd played it on a previous stream and hadn't beaten it, so I decided to revisit it. I definitely revisit levels if I haven't booted them yet. As for how long I'll play them, who really knows? But I usually refrain from liking a level unless I've either given up on it or I've beaten it, just because I want to like decrease the chance that someone else will take my first clear. So I don't want to like a level too early and then someone else will play it and then beat it. You know what I mean? If I give it a like, that means it recommends it for other people to play. So even though I am looking for fun levels to play, like actually if somebody else beats it, then it's not on the uncleared list anymore, and I might have difficulty looking for that level. Especially because I could get a lot of viewer levels, and if I get viewer levels, pressure me to like their level. with all that pressure, then like my like list gets flooded, and then I can't find levels that I wanted to play later. That's why I think it's kind of neat that Levelhead has favorites, because now seeing Levelhead, you can have likes and favorites. You can give the level the like that it deserves, but you don't have to flood your favorites list if you don't want to. Anyway, this level was pretty challenging. I think it was meant to be absolutely merciless, but it still had checkpoints, which is pretty interesting. So it was a pretty hard level, but still like reasonable. So it was a reasonable, extremely hard level, and I would say it's borderline trolly. I'm not really sure if it qualifies as trolly. Mainly just because like the main thing that feels trolly about it is simply the fact that there's lots of plants inside pipes coming out of them, and that's kind of mean because the way plants work in pipes is so different from the OGs in the original games. So it just doesn't feel the most fair to people that are used to the way plants and pipes worked in the older games, and that includes me. But I've sort of gotten used to it over time, but I still haven't probably 100% gotten used to it. But for people that never played the OGs, probably doesn't take them any time at all to get used to it, I would imagine. They just they don't interact the same way, like blocking their coming out seems to have shorter range and rules, as well as the timing is a bit different too. It doesn't really make that much sense either. But anyway, it took me a while, but eventually I got it. As you can see, I made some questionable decisions throughout, like the shell and stuff. Eventually I figured out what to do with it. And then we go into that pipe, which apparently manages to have two plants, because you can still put a plant inside of it, even though we have a creeper on the front of it. And creepers are pretty unique enemies in this game. And then there's the end. So that was the last of the Mario Maker 2 highlights. So yeah, I've really been at an all-time low for actually getting viewer levels lately, which isn't necessarily the worst thing ever. I would appreciate if I actually got viewer counts in general. So when I play Mario Maker moving forward, I'll probably just like I'll start on the Mario Maker 2 category. I'll like maybe do some first clears, and then maybe I'll just switch category to like art or design or whatever and start building. Because basically what I did yesterday, except I didn't change my category. I just left it Mario Maker 2 the whole time. And I pretty much had no viewers. This probably wasn't the best decision. Anyway, it's time for Levelhead. Stop talking about Mario Maker now, because we're done with that. So I played, okay, this is a time trophy, so this was 5 days ago, so earlier in the week. So I did this tower trial before, and so I was successful, and I wanted to try to speedrun it so I can get the trophy for playing it fast. So as you can see, it had this easy level in it. I needed to get that guy because of the regret gate, and then after that, just go grab the package and clear. It's a pretty quick level. Then we had this one. I mean, I'm not sure what to say about these levels in general. I'm not like a professional speedrunner in general, but I really appreciate that they have these tower trial trophies. It gives me like an extra objective in the game to work towards and just sort of like try to optimize things a little bit. It reminds me of like the Crash Bandicoot time trophy things. But I could feel like I have more fun doing this stuff than I ever did doing the Crash Bandicoot time trophies. Um, so that's pretty cool. They started doing that, I believe, in Crash 3 Warped. I'm not too much mistaken, and they did it again in other later Crash Bandicoot games, I'm sure. Anyway, some of the Crash Bandicoot games, like Crash Team Racing, are just like don't really seem to be skill oriented, which is unfortunate. Whereas in this game, there's a lot of skill involved, so it really makes the speed running quite satisfying. Because it's just straight up platforming. There's no like random number generator nonsense for the most part. level head levels. I think this is one of my favorites. So me liking this level a lot made me want to do this tower trial speedrun. I didn't really like this level a lot much, but I was able to beat it before, so yeah, this one took me a while. I'm sure I could do better on that last level in the future. So yeah, that one had been marked as a favorite, like I said. So I'm making sure to do that every once in a while. Let's check out the next highlight. So we have another time trophy for tower trial. I'm going to try to do more of these moving forward. So we had this level, which is surprisingly difficult for a first level of a tower trial. Or no, it was the second one, never mind. This was the first level. The first level was so short I didn't mind jumping back to the beginning. Made that mistake of yeah, there's like lots of little mistakes that I'll make in these levels that I'll definitely forgive myself for making for the most part. Because I know I can still probably get the trophy as long as I don't make too much mistakes later. This level, for example, I'd played at least twice already. Because I'd played it before I even saw it in a tower trial. I'm actually surprised this one made it to tower trial so fast. So wasn't this one of the power build levels? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just imagined it as being one of the power build levels. I thought this was in the little Timmy power build thing. It was a little Timmy thingy and into the power trial the tower trial that it got on the tower trial really fast if that's the case. Which is very surprising. It's basically just a really short troll level. Like it's sort of like Mario Maker 2 style troll level. It's basically what it is. It's not really good quality in my opinion, but at least it was playable for the most part. I kept screwing up on that part that was pretty embarrassing, but eventually I got it. Then there was this part, which this level I was scared to play, because originally it had taken me like 10 minutes maybe to beat it or something, so I was predicting it would take me like 6 minutes to beat it around this time, and I think that's about how long it took me to beat it, so. And of course I spent a bit of time talking about the tower trial, maybe before and after. Some of it was me literally pausing between levels. So the run didn't take 15 minutes each. So that's the interesting thing, is it's not real-time speed running. It's just, so the time between levels doesn't get counted. But the total time, like being dead and stuff like that, does count, of course. So, just to clarify. So I could do like the first 2 levels, take a 10-minute break, and then do, the next 3 levels or something like that. And those 10 minutes, the break doesn't get added, which is nice. I feel like that's speedrunning done right, personally. I feel like there's no pressure to push forward to the next level immediately because you're perpetually paused until you start the next level. I feel like more speedrunning should be like that, but whatever. Anyway, so this was an isolated level by itself. I'm not sure if this was from a tower trial or not. This was probably a viewer level. Saber doesn't send me very much, or he doesn't come to my stream very often, or whatever, but I do like their levels. It's entirely possible somebody else might have sent me the level, but as I say that, it kind of looks like he was typing in chat, so he definitely sent this to me. And this just happened to show up when I was doing at one point I did a stream where I was like saying like I'll play stuff that was in Sharecode's channel on the Discord. I should do another stream like that. But anyway, for now I haven't done one since the first time I did it. Anyway, so yeah, I think there's a lot of good and bad levels in this game, and there's also a lot of levels where it's just like I'm too noob, so I'm not ready for them yet kind of situation as well. And sometimes I'm a little bit worried about following makers because I'm worried that I might run into levels often that I won't be able to beat. But I'm not sure if I'll have that problem with this guy or not. But I should probably follow him. I haven't already. Actually, now that I think about it, I could actually follow him on Steam if I wanted to, or on Levelhead there. Actually, I'm not even sure if I need to do that, but oops. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. We're just gonna try to finish on pumping out this video right now. Anyways, there's a lot of like little challenges you're supposed to do, and you collect various keys. There's like 4 different keys in these 4 different areas. Kind of almost reminds me of Final Fantasy IV in a little bit, at least as far as the story is concerned. You have to go hunt down some crystals or whatever. If I say 4, I think I meant to say 1. I don't know what I said. Anyway, there are 4 keys, and it reminds me of Final Fantasy, the original. There's a bit of a story like that with Final Fantasy IX as well. I remember you have to go to like 4 different, you have to fight 4 fiends and stuff like that. Anyway, I ended up spending, I'm not sure how much tips on that. I think I spent 2K, and then maybe I spent more on it, or maybe not. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, maybe I was doing something else, who knows. Anyway, yeah, I like highlighting some of this stuff because I want to take some of these ideas and make levels from the ideas myself. This was that level that I'd favorited earlier. So we've kind of already seen this a little bit through the tower trial thing. So this one was really interesting because he used the weather effect, and when the same time when the weather turned on, that's when the the toe sliders would activate. So if you're standing on the ground, it would push you backwards pretty much, which is pretty interesting. It kind of sort of emulated the Mario Maker 2 nighttime weather desert, but it's not exactly the same thing. But yeah, that was when it was quite windy. So what else do we have here? We have a pretty good level from Beneficial Excellence. I guess, according to him at least anyway, I think he said he inspired somebody else's level. It took me a little while to master. But as you can see, it's not a very long level, so even though I failed quite a lot, I was still able to, within 10 minutes beat it. And of course, even though I failed a lot, having pretty much instant respawning compared to Mario Maker 2 is amazing as well, which helps a lot. Being able to get that stuff done in under 10 minutes. So as for this level, this was another one from Ben, Beneficial Excellence. This one was quite interesting. It's basically a precision level, but it's not your typical precision level. You have to use that package as well as this power-up in order to clear. Anyway, it took me a while, but I eventually got it. But it wasn't, I started to get the hang of it relatively early, but it still took a little while for me to hone the necessary skills or whatever, and to be consistent or something like that, which is what you might expect out of a precision level. So this level did take me over 10 minutes. I'm not sure how long it took me to figure out the basics, but probably took quite some time. I think for a while I was confused. Yeah, see, like 4 minutes in, I still hadn't figured it out yet, so it took me about 5 minutes to get the hang of it. But by the time I got the basics, it took me less than 10 minutes, so that's cool. Anyway, so where were we? Fireball spam on Steam. So if I was playing this on Switch, it would not have been possible for me to clear probably because my I don't know, the game would have been broken. Like we'd have had like 2 FPS or something stupid. But because I was playing on my PC, I was able to have like I'm not sure how much FPS I had, maybe like 50 or 90 or something ridiculously low. Because normally we're like in like 500 or like 1,000 FPS or something like that on my PC. Anyway, there's one more highlight. Then we're going to take a look at the Mega Dimension Neptunia stuff. So this highlight, I'm not sure whose level this is, but it might have been from the Tower Tower. Oh, this was just a pretty level. I just decided to highlight that one because the reason why I liked it was these differently colored spikes. They kind of reminded me of like being in the ocean. Like I said, there, GR18 is a fish. I'm just joking around a little bit, but yeah. Spike traps make me feel like I'm in the ocean. I need to stop talking soon. So there's not much else to say about it. Let's move on to a different scene so I can show you guys the Switch stuff. Need a controller. Oh yeah, apparently I was playing this last night. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Okay, so we have album, filter, Mega Dimension Neptunia. So I had like over 200 of these, but like that's because a lot of those were earlier parts in the story. So now this is just stuff that we haven't covered yet in the story with this review. So I played this pretty much off stream, all this stuff, because there wasn't really much interest in me playing RPGs. So this was the new attack that she gained access to, as you can see. Okay, so this is one of the villains, Afimojas or Afimohas, whatever his name is. This is his, talking about money, blah blah blah. And then our characters transform to fight him. So they have new forms because they combine the power of Gold Third, which I think I might have talked about briefly in the past video. I'm not sure. Not sure if I showed you these screenshots or not. Hopefully not. I guess we're gonna see a move. I'm not sure. Oh, we're in transformation actually. I think out of the 4 Gold Third people, I think she was the prettiest. I usually don't like the sort of like personality of these kinds of people, and I don't know if I really necessarily liked her personality either. But sometimes the personality kind of like ruins her appearance or something like that. I didn't feel like that happened this time. I guess we're done watching that. So they were talking about... Okay, so this is what happened. She was the sort of like the protagonist of the first game of Mega Dimension Neptunia. What was her name? Uzume. So Nepgear was helping out Uzume even when Neptune left, right? And what ends up happening in the story is it's actually not as complicated as I was wondering if it would end up being. So basically, even though this is like the 3rd game, it's just the hyperdimension Neptunia combining with the zero dimension. The two of them coming together, that's kind of what the story is about, which sounds terrifying if you've played Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, and it is terrifying because apparently the reason why this is happening is because there's a sort of villain that's doing stuff. So if you were wondering who was talking to Afimo Jas and who was talking to some of these Gold Third people, if not all of them, but this person with the what I thought was like a really sexy voice, it's actually the same voice actress as Uzume. So, but it had been a while since, we had heard of Uzume because she was back in the first game. Plus, most of the time she's not talking in a way where you would even recognize the voice. Anyway, she's like angry a lot of the time or like aggressive or whatever. So it's definitely a different voice. It's meant to be a different character, but you can definitely tell it's the same voice actress. And so that could sort of potentially be, if somebody's really good at remembering how someone's voice was. Here's an example. In this instance, she sounds a lot like the villain. This is one of those moments. So but this was not in the first game though, to keep in mind. So that was when I knew. I was like, oh my goodness, that's like the same voice. So I knew something was up. I was like, what's going on here? Like, I subconsciously knew. I don't know if I fully consciously knew what was going on, but anyway. We're just like sort of looking at the text here, just so we can get a better idea of what's happening, sort of. Oh, and this was the talking about the merging of coordinates. So not sure what's different here, but anyway. All looks kind of the same to me. Oh, towards the end, 70 to 82. That's different. And then they finally reveal to us like a same hairstyle apparently, but a different hair color. Like a same smile. Even the clothing is pretty much the same, but it's a lot of it is inverted or mostly inverted colors or color swapping. Go from red to blue and so on. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, and then so we find out the reason why Neptune is a villain is because she's been helping out the original Uzume, apparently, which they're starting to call Kurome or something like that, because like dark, whatever. Anyway, and this was, I can't remember why this was happening, but apparently when the dimensions were, oh, that's right, the characters got captured, and so they were sort of like going into like these, imaginary situations, like a dream world or whatever, kind of like in Naruto Shippuden. And so like all these different characters had like their own ideas of like dream worlds that they'd get stuck in and stuff. We have a few pictures of some scouts and stuff. This scene was kind of interesting. These different pictures of the area, it was giving off like a Super Mario Odyssey vibe, if you ask me. So I was taking some screenshots of it, so I thought it was pretty cool. As you can see, I was like alternating between leaders. Don't ask me why. I'm not sure. Probably just so I can like level up their challenges or something. Leader challenges or whatever. And then she has this horrible like final boss form or something like that, and she was kind of a pushover. I wonder if there's another boss you can fight after her or something. But apparently I didn't unlock the best ending for the game. But we still got some really cool credits and stuff. Yeah, like the ending credits video is pretty high quality. I really enjoy watching like these like alternate ideas for what the game could have looked like or something like that. Looks really interesting. Like all these, look at this. Like I don't even know where to begin on how interesting it is that they drew up these various designs or whatever. Like it's all just so cute, like the two-dimensional stuff. I think this would have been better than the stuff that we got in Super Neptunia RPG or in this game, to be honest. Like I'm a sucker for like just trying to keep things simple, honestly. Like some of the stuff reminds me of like SNES stuff, like Lufia 2 and Saga Frontier. Even though Saga Frontier was released on the PlayStation, I'd say Saga Frontier's graphics are more like SNES graphics, just like revved up, if that makes sense or whatever. So yeah, I took up various screenshots that I thought looked kind of interesting. This one slightly reminds me of Bomberman a little bit, not too much so, but yeah, that not sure where they were going with this concept, but anyway, this part right here with these two people, like, or groups of people, or, oh, she's transforming, right? Yeah. Anyway, this kind of reminds me of like either like Chrono Trigger or Romancing Saga 3 or whatever, or something like that. And less so Saga Frontier as well, but like just the way they line up like that and face off against the opponent really reminds me of, especially in Romancing Saga 3, that scene. And I think this happens a lot in Chrono Trigger 2, if I'm not too much mistaken. Like a face off like that. Not sure what was going on here, but this reminds me of more like stuff like Final Fantasy VII or Saga Frontier again, where a character is kind of like sort of taking up multiple sides on a big enemy, which seems really cool looking. I love the concepts of that were shown in these credits. It was really cool. And then this was what they were shown on. This was like their explanation for why it looks like that. So this is theoretically like the games that the people were playing like inside the game, if that makes sense. Like because in this game, like the characters play games. So these are some of the games that they were playing, I guess, is the story. That's why this stuff was drawn. I thought that was really cool. This kind of reminds me of Dig Dug. I'm not sure if that's what it's supposed to look like or not, but anyway. And then there's these words. They're talking, whatever. Then there's her again. She was part of the ending. So she's kind of like becomes like, I don't know, like she becomes like a ghost or something, sort of, or like a goddess or something. But the other people are called goddesses for some reason. Don't ask me why. Anyway, that's her. That's pretty much it. So we beat the game, by basically defeating the true villain, the one that was apparently her all along. So she ended up. It was kind of like Naraku, and then like he takes a part of himself and cuts it off from himself. That's kind of like her, basically, sort of. Not exactly. It's a little bit different than that, but it's somewhat similar to that. You guys can play the game for yourself if you want to get the exact details. Anyway, that's enough of that. So, moving forward, I'll be playing Shin Megami Tensei 5, and that's going to be tomorrow that it's getting released. I was thinking maybe it was November 11th, but I guess it's actually the 12th. But it doesn't really matter, because like probably shouldn't be playing a game like that today. Anyway, today's kind of my day off, and yet I'm using it to talk about video games, so I guess I don't get any rest. Anyway, well, that's enough of that. We're about an hour long. Hey, that wasn't so bad.